We went to Clearwater Ridge Resort in Northern. On that weekend I was with my girlfriend Alyssa. We booked a cabin far from the main lodge because she wanted privacy. No crowds, no noise, just trees and silence. The drive there felt normal at first, but the closer we got the quieter it became. No signal, no passing cars. Even the GPS started glitching like it couldn't lock onto our location. When we finally arrived, the resort looked off. Not abandoned, but not active either. The main building had lights on, but no one was outside. No staff, no guests, just wind pushing through tall pine trees. We parked, grabbed our bags, and walked in. A man stood behind the front desk. Late 50s maybe. Pale, too pale. His smile didn't feel right. "Checking in?" he asked. His voice sounded rehearsed. I gave him my name. He didn't check a computer, didn't ask for ID, just reached under the desk and pulled out a key. A real metal key. No card. "Cabin 12, he said. "Last one on the trail." Alyssa squeezed my hand. I could tell she felt it too. "Is it busy here?" I asked. He paused, just for a second. "Not tonight." That should have been enough for us to leave. But we didn't. The walk to cabin 12 took about 10 minutes. No lights along the path, just our phone flashlights and the sound of leaves crunching under our feet. Every now and then I thought I heard something else, like footsteps just out of sync with ours. When we reached the cabin, I noticed something strange right away. The door was already slightly open. I pushed it gently. It creaked. Inside, everything looked clean, prepared, like someone had just been there. The bed was made perfectly, towels folded, but there was a smell, not strong, just old, like something had been sitting in the air for years. Alyssa tried to brush it off. "It's probably just the wood." We dropped our bags. I locked the door. That's when I noticed the second key. It was already in the lock. On the inside. I pulled it out slowly. "Why would there be two?" I said. Alyssa didn't answer. She was staring at the window. "Did you see that?" she whispered. "See what?" "Someone just walked past." I rushed to the window and looked out. Nothing. Just trees. "No one's out there," I said. But my voice didn't sound convincing. We decided to eat the snacks we brought and just sleep early. No exploring. No going back to the lodge. Just get through the night. Around 11 p.m. the power went out. Everything went completely black. Alyssa grabbed my arm. "Is that normal?" "Probably just a generator issue," I said, even though I didn't believe it. Then we heard it. A knock. 3 slow taps. Not on the door. On the window. We both froze. Another 3 taps. Alyssa started shaking. "Don't open it." "I'm not going to." But I couldn't stop staring at the glass. There was nothing there. No silhouette. No movement. Just darkness. Then a voice came. Soft. Right outside the window. "Let me in." It sounded exactly like Alyssa. I turned to her slowly. She was gripping my arm, eyes wide. "I didn't say that," she whispered. The voice came again. Closer this time. "Please, it's cold." Alyssa started crying quietly. "That's not me. That's not me." I backed away from the window. That's when something slammed against the glass. Hard enough to make it crack. We both screamed. And then, silence. Complete silence. No wind. No insects. Nothing. Like the entire forest had stopped breathing. We didn't sleep. We just sat there in the dark waiting for morning. But morning never came. At some point I checked my phone. 2:17 a.m. I remember that clearly because it never changed after that. Not once. Time just stopped. Alyssa noticed it too. "Why is it not moving?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because deep down I already knew something was wrong with this place. Not just the cabin. The entire resort. Then we heard footsteps. Inside the cabin. Slow. Heavy. Coming from the hallway. But there was no hallway. Just one room. One door. One window. The footsteps stopped right behind us. I could feel it. Not hear it. Feel it. Like someone was standing inches away. Breathing. Alyssa whispered, "Don't turn around." I didn't want to, but something forced me to. Slowly, I turned my head. There was nothing there, but the air felt occupied. Like whatever it was, it didn't need to be seen. Then the front door handle started moving, slowly twisting, back and forth. We both stared at it. Locked. Still it kept turning. Then came the knocking. Not soft this time. Violent. Like someone was trying to break it down. Open the door. A voice shouted. A man's voice this time. Desperate. Please. They're coming. Open the door. Alyssa looked at me. What if someone actually needs help? I shook my head. No. No way. Because something didn't add up. If someone was outside, then what was inside with us? The knocking got louder. Open it. Then suddenly, it stopped. Dead silence again. Alyssa exhaled slowly. I think they're gone. That's when we heard it. From under the bed. A whisper. Don't open it. Alyssa screamed and jumped back. I grabbed her and pulled her toward the corner of the room. The whisper continued. It wants you to open it. My chest tightened. Who's there? No answer. Just a faint breathing sound. From under the bed. I grabbed a flashlight and slowly lowered it toward the floor. The beam shook in my hand. I crouched down and looked. There was a face, right up against the underside of the bed. Eyes wide open, skin stretched tight, smiling. It looked like the front desk man, but wrong. Distorted, too wide, too thin. It whispered again, don't let it in. I stumbled back, pulling Alyssa with me. Before I could say anything, the window shattered. Glass exploded inward. Cold air rushed in, and something climbed through. I didn't see it clearly, just movement. Too fast, too unnatural. Alyssa screamed, and then suddenly stopped. I turned. She was gone. Just gone. No struggle. No sound. Like she had been erased. I ran to the door, unlocked it, and bolted outside. The forest was different. Darker. The path was gone. The cabins were gone. Only trees. Endless trees. I ran until I couldn't breathe. Until I collapsed. And when I woke up, I was lying in the resort parking lot. Morning light. Cars parked. People walking around like nothing happened. I ran inside the lodge. Different staff. Different atmosphere. I asked about cabin 12. The woman at the desk looked confused. We only have 8 cabins, she said, and they've all been empty for weeks. I tried to explain, tried to tell her about Alyssa, but when I showed her a picture of us on my phone, it was just me, standing alone, in front of cabin, number 12. I left that place immediately, reported everything. Search teams went out. They found nothing. No cabin, no broken window, no trace of Alyssa. It's been 2 years. No one believes me, but sometimes late at night, I still hear it. 3 soft taps on my window, and a voice that sounds exactly like hers. Let me in. I worked at Clearwater Ridge Resort in Northern California. It looked perfect on paper. Private cabins, pine forest, a quiet lake. The kind of place couples go to unplug and families post smiling photos from. I took the night shift at the front desk because it paid more, and honestly, I liked the silence. The first weird thing happened on my 3rd night. At 2:17 a.m., the front desk phone rang. That alone wasn't unusual. Guests sometimes locked themselves out or needed towels. I answered expecting something simple. All I heard was breathing. Slow, wet, like someone had just run a mile and couldn't catch their breath. Hello, this is Evan at the front desk. How can I help you? No response, just breathing. I checked the internal system. The call was coming from cabin 12. Cabin 12 was empty. I had personally checked it earlier that evening. Clean lock, lights off. Sir or ma'am, if this is a prank, please. The line cut. I sat there for a minute staring at the receiver. Then I laughed it off. Old wiring. Crossed lines. It happens. But 10 minutes later, the same call came again. Same breathing. Same silence. That's when I decided to go check. The walk to cabin 12 wasn't long, maybe 3 minutes from the main office. But at night, the trees felt closer, like they were leaning in. The porch light of cabin 12 was off, just like I left it. No car outside. No sound. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The air was wrong. You know how a closed room smells stale? This wasn't that. It smelled damp, like something had been sitting in there too long. I checked the living room. Empty. Kitchen. Empty. Then I noticed the bedroom door was slightly open. I was sure I had closed it earlier. I pushed it open slowly. The bed sheets were messed up, not just wrinkled. It looked like someone had been lying there recently. My stomach dropped. I backed out, immediately locked the cabin, and hurried back to the office. I told myself it was probably housekeeping. Maybe they forgot to log it. Maybe someone used it earlier. But when I checked the system again, cabin 12 was still marked vacant. And then the phone rang. I froze. Same line. Cabin 12. This time I didn't speak. I just listened. The breathing was louder now. Closer. And then through the static I heard something else. A whisper. Why did you leave? I hung up so fast the receiver slipped from my hand. I didn't go back out that night. I stayed behind the desk lights on TV running, trying to convince myself it was some kind of elaborate prank. Morning came, and everything felt normal again. Sunlight made it all seem stupid, until I checked the logbook. There was an entry for cabin 12. A guest name I didn't recognize. Laura Bennett. Check-in time, 1:54 a.m. Check out, blank. I asked my manager about it later. He frowned, looked at the system, and said there must be a glitch. But then he added something that didn't sit right with me. Don't assign cabin 12 for a few days. He didn't explain why. I wish I had quit right then, because the next night, it got worse. I came in for my shift trying to act normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Cabin 12 was still listed as vacant, but the log entry for Laura Bennett was gone. Not deleted. Gone like it was never there. Around midnight, a couple checked in, arguing quietly. I gave them cabin 7 and watched them drive off. Normal stuff. Grounding. Then, at exactly 2:17 a.m., the power flickered. Just once. And the phone rang. I didn't want to answer it, but I did. Front desk. Silence. Then that same breathing. But this time, there was something else in the background. A faint creaking, like wood shifting, or footsteps on an old floor. I forced myself to speak. Cabin 12. The breathing stopped. For a second, everything was completely silent. Then a voice. Clear. Female. Please don't leave me here. My chest tightened. Who is this? How did you get in that cabin? No answer. Just a soft broken sound. Like someone crying. And then the line went dead. I don't know why I went back. I should have called my manager. Or the police. Or just walked out. But something about the voice, it didn't feel like a prank anymore. It felt real. I grabbed the master key and went. The walk felt longer this time. The forest was dead quiet. No wind, no insects, nothing. Cabin 12's porch light was on. I know for a fact it was off before. The door was slightly open. I didn't unlock it. I just pushed it. The smell hit me first. Stronger now. Rotting almost. Hello. My voice barely came out. No response. The living room was the same, but the bedroom door was wide open, and the lights inside were on. I stepped closer, and that's when I saw her, sitting on the edge of the bed. A woman. Long dark hair, covering her face. Wearing what looked like an old resort uniform. She wasn't moving, just sitting there. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Then slowly, she lifted her head. Her face. I still can't describe it properly. Pale. Too pale. Eyes wide but wrong. Like they weren't focusing on anything. Her mouth opened slightly. You left me. My legs gave out. I stumbled back, hitting the wall. I didn't. You locked the door. Her voice changed. It wasn't sad anymore. It was angry. I turned and ran. I don't remember getting back to the office. I just remember slamming the door, locking it, and staying there until sunrise. I quit that morning. Didn't even collect my last paycheck. A week later, I looked up the resort online. Buried in an old forum, I found something. A post from years ago. About a missing employee. A night staff worker named Laura Bennett. She disappeared during her shift. Last seen near cabin 12. They never found her. The resort never closed. They just kept renting out the cabins. I still get calls sometimes. Late at night. No caller ID. I never answer. But once, I let it ring too long. And just before it stopped, I heard it, breathing,